Before going forward, I want to make this very clear to everybody watching and listening to this State of the Nation broadcast that I am a liberator. I am a freedom fighter. The most part of my job today is to fight with everything in me to restore freedom of my people, which is Biafra people. And that I have volunteered to do in uprightness, genuinity, and with every strength that I have. And this particular freedom fighting for Biafra, I will do with everything in me so that Biafra will be free from Nigeria by 2023. I want to reassure the Biafra people today that 2023 exit from Nigeria is a target of the Biafra people. And we are not going to miss this target of exiting Nigeria by 2023. It shows that we are focused and we have a target. Having said that, this evening, my fellow Biafrans, I want to reassure you again that nothing can crush the spirit of determined people. The war of aggression from the Nigeria terrorist state as that, can't stop Biafrans from breaking away in 2023. You know, sometimes they say, why are you people always making noise on social media? The noise making on social media is part of the modern freedom fighting to create awareness to those who may not have the opportunity to know the details and the reason why Biafra must exit Nigeria. It may also be for their own good. So the noise making in social media and all that is completely part of it. And those who tell you that you make noise on social media, do not listen to them. They are only trying to demoralize you. The more they ask you not to make noise on social media, the more you should come often on social media to make noise about your freedom. Because they want to use intimidation and emotional blackmail to make you to stop making noise on social media. So this evening, I want to encourage Biafran people to go to social media and make noise. You must continue to make noise on social media until the last day that we are going to have a final declaration of Biafra and defend it. Your noise must not stop. Do not fall to the emotional blackmail of the enemy of Biafra. I want to also respond to those who will be making references to how the terrorist Fulanis, Boko Haram, and their likes operate, trying to tell us how to fight our freedom because we come to social media to make noise. We want to respond to them today as well, as we have always done in our previous State of the Nation broadcast, that we are not terrorists, so we cannot operate like them. Today, our response is that fighting for freedom have to do with the right to govern ourselves and make decisions for our future as people. This is not what the terrorists are fighting for. The terrorist ideology is completely different from ours. And I will there want to make reference again today from a man called Abu Musab al-Suri, one of the main Al-Qaeda ideologists who have championed a massive societal indoctrination campaign to promote the tenet of the militant jihad among Muslims worldwide. This ideology seems to have made very deep inroad around the world, and of course, in the life of those called self-described jihadists, as they rely heavily upon that particular ideology and promote suicide oppression, claiming that the reward referred to in Islamic scripture will be accorded to those who carry out such act. That is not the path that the Biafra people are taking as we embark on the liberation of Biafra. Suicide terrorists are seen not as cold-blooded killers, but as suicidal, and they see them as heroes in the eyes of many. This shift in value occurs slowly, very, very slowly. It occurs. And I want to tell you today that suicide terrorism first found acceptance in Palestine. This Palestine that the man who paraded himself as the president of Nigeria will always go to defend at the UN General Assembly. And of course, over time, it was increasingly utilized for fighting occupation for a place like in Chechnya, Kashmir, Afghanistan, Iraq, and of course, in different and other places around the world. I want to inform you people today that chillingly, there is also a minority endorsement of this abominable and atrocious act of suicide terrorism, even inside the United Kingdom. We have witnessed over the years the endorsement in some part of the United Kingdom, likewise the involvement of the female terrorists. They have also become increasingly more commonplace, and of course, they have to debate it amongst terrorism perpetrators. It has even extended to whether biological or radiological weapons are justifiable in fighting the militant jihad. It is very, very imperative for Biafrans, as a spokesperson of Biafra, for me to draw lines from this historic event. Al-Qaeda and its affiliates are expert in taking advantage of local conflict. These terrorists are very, very expert in taking advantage of the conflict, local conflict, and grievances, and adopting their ideology to local circumstances. And this is exactly what the Nigeria state is doing today. When the terrorists attack and kill our people in their villages, they take advantage of local conflict. They tell you it is herders, farmers, clashes. If the world can understand how the terrorists, Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, and its affiliate take advantage of communal clashes, conflict, grievances between communities and using it as an advantage to tell you herders, farmers clashes, which has been the narrative for many years of conquest in Nigeria. That will tell you that Nigeria government is directly involved in the sponsoring of terrorism. Because the narrative they try to tell you is to use the advantage of the clashes between ethnic groups. And of course, this advantage they have used very well. But today, Biafra has destroyed that narrative. It is no longer sellable. The next question I want to ask: does the Southeast governors are aware that Nigeria has met all the characteristics? The Nigeria federal government, controlled by Fulani, has made all the characteristics of a government that sponsors terrorism, including sponsoring the conquest of their own people by the fact that they take advantage of grievances, local conflict, and adopting this ideology to local circumstances. If they don't know this before today, please inform them that Nigeria government, by actions, inactions, have met every requirement to be tagged as a terrorist state. Today, we want to also inform Biafrans that to fight terrorism, we must therefore understand the pervasiveness of the so-called Islamic ideology, stand to and adopt to reverse the radicalization in the mainstream Islamic discourse. The world and its communities have bear us witness on our civil approach to this Biafra liberation. The crisis in Biafra land, the planned annihilation of Biafra people, the ethnic cleansing which the governors of the Southeast have directly participated and aided the Nigeria government in quest to maintain their status quo. We therefore, again today, redeclaring we cannot stand idle and watch the total extermination of our people by the Fulani federal government of Nigeria, either directly or by proxy, using the governors of the Southeast. I want to also commend at this juncture alliances that we have had so far. I want to commend especially General Orji in his speech today, the 30th of October 2022. I want to commend General Orji for not falling into the trap of the enemies. I want to commend him the way he dribbled the enemy. I want to tell General Orji that I watched him very well and very closely as he responded to questions from a Fulani journalist asking about alliances with Simon Ekpa. I want to make it very clear, nobody goes into alliance with Simon Ekpa as a person, as an individual. What we have tried to do and what we have done is to prove the enemies wrong, that the Biafra liberation and the Biafra restoration is not a place that divide and rule will work again. We have defeated them. We want to inform them that now we can work in unity. We want to inform the Fulani cabals and the Southeast governors that the days of the divide and conquer is over. And the main reason why we bring every group together, almost every group together, is to show our preparedness for Biafra and to make sure that our strength are utilized in uniform. So, General Oji, the way you responded to the question of the journalist, I do not know whether that is a journalist or that is somebody from somewhere, I do not know. But the questions he persistently asked about Simon Ekpa giving you money and making promises and all that, I want to commend you for you defeated the enemy, and our alliances or collaboration or whatever you see fit how to address it is still very intact. The promise we made in our alliance meetings or our collaboration meetings or our unison meetings is still intact. And we are working on it, and it remains like that. And I cannot make this broadcast today without commending the way you handled whoever that journalist is. And I will also recommend that you may never wish to invite such journalists into your broadcast, because the questions he asked revealed a lot. And if he is part of you, you may also need to reconsider revealing things that are not to be revealed to such journalists. Everything General Orji said on the video, I can confirm it is true, and there is nothing to subtract and nothing to add. The alliance between the Biafra National Guard happened in August. And of course, we are just in October, August, September, 1 month interval. We are just in October. And you do not expect a lot to start happening just like that. We are all struggling to make sure that we provide whatever that is needed for Biafra liberation. And for that reason, the Biafra National Guard is the army of Biafra, and they have been in existence before we go into the unification to make sure that we are fighting in one cause. I want to inform those who may have been disappointed with the way General Orji responded today is that the most important thing is we are all fighting for Biafra, and we respect each other, and we respect each other's values and qualities. It is no longer like before, where you will be calling General Orji a criminal. It is no longer like before, where other IPOB members will be calling General Orji a betrayer. It is no longer like before, like the journalists asked him, where they will brand him as somebody who worked with DSS. That we have been able to defeat. Nobody will call General Orji, not from our own side, a betrayer. There is no reason for that. But this has been the mechanism that the Fulani have used to destroy the Biafra struggle for many years. They made you understand that every other group that is fighting for Biafra are not genuine. They make you understand that BNL are not genuine. Today we have united with the BNL, and they are doing a great job. They make you understand that Sabot are not genuine. Today we have been able to unite with Sabot, and they are doing a great job. They make you understand that many groups in the Riverine area are not genuine. Today we have united with them, and they are doing great jobs in their different zone. These are the things we have been able to achieve. We may not have billions of dollars to give to every alliance to be able to purchase whatever necessary equipment that is needed, but we have been able to set a standard that will lead us to greatness. And that particular achievement will remain like that until we begin to do the things that are needed. So I commend you, General Oji, for the maturity you displayed. And I want to tell you today that our discussion, the promises, and everything is still intact. And there is no change to that. Rather, we are going to make sure that we better from today going forward. The Southeast governors today have shown and demonstrated that they are the worst enemy of Biafra people. And this State of the Nation broadcast is primarily targeted at addressing them. Today we have read from the Nation's newspaper that the Southeast governors recommend political solution on our leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. This is completely unacceptable in the sense that we waited for the Southeast governors to give at least statement on the court ruling which exonerated Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, discharged and acquitted him on the 13th of August. The Southeast governors did not react to this particular court ruling. They neither did not compel or advise the Nigeria Fulani terrorist government to follow the court order, at least without them heeding to their advice. Today, from the Nation's newspaper, we can say that the Southeast governors on Sunday expressed their belief in using political solution to free our leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And when the court gave a statement and passed a ruling that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be discharged and acquitted, and the Southeast governors did not make any statement to that effect. We want to inform them today and inform Biafrans today that this attitude displayed by the governors of the Southeast today has directly indicted all of them and their involvement in the kidnap of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya. When the court passed a judgment, they refused to compel the federal government to respect their own law. And they worked underground to change the judges, and today elephant can fly in Nigeria. And that is when the governors of the Southeast summon the courage and have the impetus to come out publicly and disgrace themselves by calling for political solution. When a competent court in your own country have released and discharged Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, today we declare the governors enemies of Biafra. And because it is the Biafra people that voted them to power, we are going to take the power away from them before the election. Our period of mercy has elapsed. The disappointment coming from the resolution of the Southeast Governors Forum today is the highest knife stabbed on the chest of Biafrans. And we are going to give them sleepless night from today. We have done everything that needed to be done to ensure the security of lives and properties in Biafra, and of course, in the wider Nigeria. But today, the governors of the Southeast part of Biafra, collaborating with our enemies. And they could not even voice out in defense of their own court. That the federal government of Nigeria, controlled by terrorists, cannot obey their own court order only when they have done the kangaroo judgment and the elephant can fly, and now elephant is flying. Only then they summon courage to have a meeting. I remember that a few days ago, I was addressing the Southeast governors where I made mention that they haven't converged for a meeting for a very long time. And I believe that this shenanigans meeting that you see them having today is coming from the fact that I have reminded them that they have not had a meeting for a very long time since the kidnap of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Because they follow us every day. We are watching them as well as they're watching us. After they have demonstrated they have no remorse about the direct involvement of the waste of life and destruction of property by the invaders, Fulani terrorists, and the Nigeria government in army uniform and the DSS uniform. Since the Nigeria government has chosen the invaders and terrorists from the northeast part of Africa over their own said citizens, we have no option but to defend our land with everything we have. I want to also make this declaration here that everything General Orji said today, we the Biafra people endorse it. Every declaration that is coming from General Orji today on Biafra restoration and declaration, we endorse it, as it is the same goal that we have and it is the same thing we are doing. We endorse it and we are going to endorse it again and again and again. In addition to the declaration of General Orji, I want to also make very clear the following. We can all remember from the Nigerian newspaper, from the Tribune report of the 16th of August, 2022, where General Dambazu said, and quote, the army forces with a population of about 200,000 have the deficit to confront the terrorists as they have been overstretched. It is to review our counter-terrorism strategy to eliminate these state actors, as security should be the top agenda as we gradually approach the 2023 general election. I want to inform Biafrans that by every ramification and every information available to us, Nigeria army cannot defeat us in battle. They have no capacity. They may have the military jet, they may have the military helicopter, the gunboat, and what have you. But let me tell you today, Nigeria army and security agencies are divided like never before. The division in them is worse than what is happening at the National Assembly. And we know that very well. Apart from the division, every single person that is from the southern part and the middle belt of Nigeria serving in Nigeria army today are all doing that and waiting for the time the whistle will blow. The example of it is the former spokesperson of the Nigeria army, the name of General Enenche, who, after lying about the killing of Lekki Tollgate, he came back to apologize that he had to lie, which means he himself was also taking a second option while he was serving as the spokesperson of Nigeria army. Had it been that somebody like General Enenche was still serving in Nigeria army until the liberation of Biafra start, you think he is going to abandon his middle belt and fight for Nigeria. He will never do that. I just want to give you an example. But you know, there are thousands of NHS serving in Nigeria army today, lying and displeasing their people. And when they go back their homes, they sleep on their bed and they cry. They cry to their families, they cry with their wives, they cry with their children, and they come out the next day and smile, waiting for who is going to take the lead for Nigeria to be disintegrated so that they will not continue to live in that perpetual bondage. General Enenche haven't come publicly to make expose how he lied. You can understand the level of cry he has cried in his bedroom with his wife and children. He must have been crying every day, waiting for when this crying is going to end. But look at him. Today he is like a free man. He's like a bird released from the cage. He jumped from one interview to another, narrating how he lied and how God can forgive him and all that. This is what is happening to almost 90% of Southerners and the Middle Belters serving in the Nigerian army. I am telling you the fact. Having said this, the same thing is applicable to the governors who have come to say, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, they are adopting the political solution. The reason they have not come out when the court discharged and acquitted Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is because the governors of the Southeast are also crying with their wives and children because they don't want to lose relevance and power. We are going to take it away from them before 2023. Mark my word. They have actually touched the spirit of the dead. And the spirit of the millions of Biafrans that died for this freedom will rise up to start confronting them from this week. Let me inform you today, Abuja is under almost lockdown for the threat of terrorist attack. Go to Abuja today, the capital of Nigeria, everywhere is deserted. People are going out with fear of the unknown. The uncertainty of coming back if you go out of your house in Abuja is unknown. That is the capital of Nigeria. If capital of Nigeria, people can be unsafe, what makes you think that you are going to make it to 2023 as a Nigerian? From the UK country policy and information note, the UK claimed that Biafra is loosely defined area in the southeast of Nigeria that roughly correspond to the state of Abia, Imo, Ebonyi, Enugu, and Anambra. This is a very big lie. By the time we get to the February of 2023, the United Kingdom will come and tell us how they arrive at this particular information. The dispute of our land and borders is not the biggest priority at this point. And I believe that in a few days' time, you are going to know the territory of Biafra through the activities of the Biafra Liberation Movement. We must, from today, correct the United Kingdom, just like we have always done, that this is a fallacy taken too far. The Biafra territory, we all know, existed many years, even before the Nigerian independence. And we know the state, how the state has been divided and deliberately changing the demography of our nation. And the history they cleared out of the schools, we have been able to recover all of them, and we know better. We will continue to show our readiness to exit Nigeria by 2023 through different means. The recent political event in Nigeria have further widened the debate on the inevitability of the sovereign state and sovereign nation of Biafra, and of course, the break up of Nigeria so that many nations in Nigeria will emerge by 2023. Those who are coward can decide to stay with the Fulani terrorists and they will continue to terrorize them. Before going into the declaration which we have made in the past, in addition to what General Oji have done today, we thank those our alliances that we have not mentioned, especially those secret ones that we never wanted to mention their names. We thank them and we say, let your spirit continue to be high because the time has come. The November of 2022 will be another history. We will leave a very big mark in the mind of one Nigerianist in November 2022. Therefore, from previously, we have already made our declaration very clear as we continue to fight for the freedom of Biafra people. We have witnessed kidnapping, the increase in kidnapping and all that. The governors of the Southeast has come to say, showing their dissatisfaction, claiming they want to increase the federal patrol or the highway patrol in the southeast of Nigeria. We want to inform the governors that you cannot increase the federal highway patrol when the federal highway patrol are those that are kidnapping our people. You cannot deploy more military bandits and terrorists into the highway or in Biafra land where people are being kidnapped just 2 kilometers and 200 meters away from the military checkpoint. I do not understand what the Southeast governors meant by saying they want to deploy more security patrol on the highway. Does it mean that they want to increase the kidnapping? Does it mean that they want to make sure that every Biafra is killed? Does it mean they want to make sure, have they gone into agreement to annihilate our people before 2023? We want to inform them that from tonight, anywhere we see the state actors which have directly involved in kidnapping our people and the Fulani have abducted them, from all evidence, fact available to everybody, both those that we have on wiretape, those we have on the video, both the testimony from victims, survivors, and all that, the every point and finger is pointing at the military collaboration with the bandit and the terrorists who have invaded our land. They give them cover. They also share the ransom with them. For that reason, we don't want to see any military patrol in Biafra road from today. There will be no military and a paramilitary patrol anywhere. It is a counter order to the governors of the Southeast. And the non-state actors, headsmen, collaborating with the army to carry AK-47 and the terrorists from the Sahel to kill our people. Anywhere we see them in our forests, we are going to confront them. So as the governor is making arrangement to deploy more kidnappers to our road, we are telling them this night that we are going to start confronting them face to face. And it is going to be the part of liberating Biafra. From tonight, we are going to continue to maintain the enforcement on open grazing in Biafra land. Any cow you see anywhere destroying our crops and they carry AK-47, bring them down. As simple as that. It does not matter. Once you see them, confront them. In order to safeguard our people, our women and children from the incessant kidnapping by the terrorists in collaboration with Nigeria Army and Police, the evidences are there. the national security of Biafra have taken it upon themselves to confront any Nigeria army uniform anywhere in Biafra land from tonight. To show our readiness to break away from a terrorist country, from Nigeria by 2023. From tonight, we are declaring that every military, police, and custom checkpoint in Biafra land from tonight will be a target. Nobody will be allowed to be using Nigeria uniform to cover the kidnapping of Biafra people. The evidences that we have so far have proven that the military checkpoint, custom police checkpoint in Biafra land are used by the terrorists. Because every kidnapping happening in Nsukka from Enugu to Onitsha to Owerri to all these places are happening just by the military checkpoint. So for that reason, we don't want to see them again. If we see you on checkpoint, you are a terrorist. Until you tell us how come you are 2 kilometers away from your checkpoint and Fulani are stopping our people with a sporadic gunshot and kidnap them inside forest, and you are there and you don't confront them. From most of the indication, most of the intelligence gathered so far is that even after they kidnap these people, they share the ransom. So we are making it very clear today. If we see you anywhere, any checkpoint, you are a terrorist and you'll be treated as such. The use of siren, again, is still in force. It has been banned in Biafra land. This will continue until next year when we will successfully stop Nigeria from conducting election in Biafra territory. The oppression of the terrorist group called the Bubago, and of course, their counterpart, the RVG or whatever they are called, these activities of these terrorists, who are not even Biafrans in the first place, remain banned. And I will tell you today that we are very, very serious. Due to the high level of insecurity in Biafra land today, which the Biafra, the governors themselves have demonstrated to be behind this insecurity for the reason best known to them. It exposes the life of our people to danger when gathered more than 10 persons. And of course, for that reason, we therefore banned again every political gathering in Biafra land, every campaign, every governmental public outreach in Biafra land is hereby suspended. The same way the America are calling on their citizens in Abuja to evacuate, giving them security warning and concern, is the same way the Biafra people will have come today to give security concern to every gathering in Biafra land by making sure that every political gathering is hereby banned, to make sure we preserve your life and protect you till further notice. We also want to call on Biafra people to continue to get ready for next year. Probably you have to start stockpiling food for 2 weeks, the food that will take you for 2 weeks, you and your family. If you do not have food, you better start now and talking to people so they can help you to stockpile food for at least 2 weeks. When the time comes that we order you to sit at home for 2 weeks, you will be able to sit at home and you have food that you and your family can eat. This is the small price you are going to pay for your freedom. A lot of people, for example, in different places where crises are happening today, they have been on it for many years. I want to tell you that if you want freedom, prepare for war. In a few weeks or days, I wouldn't say in few, because the Biafra flag from our activities ought to have been hoisted in the entire territory of Biafra. You will be expecting it any moment from now. And when that happens, we are going to have again the State of the Nation address to address you and continue to show you step by step on what we are going to do to get Biafra. I want to inform Biafrans today that we are just in 126 days to Biafra. Very, very important. Why people are mocking us for having a countdown on Biafra, we are very, very focused. Finally, I want to inform all of you that those who say we are not going to sleep, they must be ready to stay awake. I want to commend the commanders of the Eastern Security Network in the entire Biafra land. I want to say thank you for the job well done in making sure, even with all the attack you receive from left and right, we have been able to curtail the activities of the Fulani terrorists and now focus on kidnapping on the road with the Nigeria in the collaboration of the Nigerian Army and Police. I can tell you today that we have been able to defeat them in our various farms and villages and those places where the military have showed their power and strength. They are now cutting our people with knives and machete. We are going to assure Biafrans today that very, very soon, very, very, very soon, the story will change. We want to commend you all who have been working round the clock and underground to give intels as they come. I want to commend those who are working genuinely, especially in the legal team, who are working genuinely for the freedom of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And for the very first time, I want to commend Barrister Aloy Ejimako and his group. The more days and the more weeks, the more we go forward in this struggle, the more many things are opening up. And of course, everything is step by step. There are different and many informations that we continue to work on. I want to commend them and commend his team for the job they have done so far. And then commend every person in the legal team who are genuinely with their heart, fighting for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We do not believe in Nigeria judiciary. The Nigeria judiciary is dead. And for those who mocked us when we said the Nigeria judiciary is dead, I hope you can mock us again. Because in Nigeria, elephant can fly. And we know how to release our leader. We know where and what to do, and he will be out. And we're working on it. From here, I will say, may God bless the Republic of Biafra. May God bless the Biafra government in exile and the entire cabinet. And I continue to promise Biafrans that in matter of days, the Biafra government in exile and their cabinet will be addressing Biafra. I apologize that this particular address has taken a little bit while, but believe me, they are not idle. The Biafra government in exile is now issuing the letters to all Biafrans around the world free of charge. And this service they have been doing since we activated the Biafra government in exile. And we are working very, very hard to make sure that every mechanism is being put in place. I thank Umada of Biafra, being led by Honorable Charles Azuka Nwankwo, for their job. I want to thank the elders. I want to thank those, our spiritual leaders. our spiritual elders, our kings and Ezes, chiefs, who are working very, very hard secretly. And I want to thank those who are committed financially in this liberation of Biafra. And I want to thank those who may change their mind today to join us to see that whatever that is needed for this liberation, that we have it ahead of time. We do not have time, and 126 days. So many people will be waiting to see how they are going to do it. But what you don't know is that the God of Biafra will always position the people that will do the right thing at the right time. We will continue to pray for our people back home. We will continue to pray for vulnerable women. We will continue to pray for those who have been affected by the flood that was deliberated or deliberately done to our people to make sure they weaken their zeal. We will continue to pray for the victim of the flood that is ravaging the southeast, and of course, the other part of Biafra land. Our prayers are with you. And we continue to pray for the family of our leader and our leader himself. And we are hoping that one day, before this year ends, we are going to celebrate, and we have the cause to celebrate. If we do not celebrate this year, we are going to celebrate next year. We must keep the hope alive. And I call on all Biafrans to stay very strong. We are winning this war, and there is no two ways about it. We must be very strong. We must maintain our mental toughness. We must stand by the truth. We must be upright at all times and make sure that we don't lie against anybody. The time for propaganda and lies is over. If you have engaged yourself in lying against your brother before, you desist from it now, because Biafra is real. If you do not see it coming, you are going to see it coming in November 2022. From here, from me, I say good evening.
Quite a large number came from this part of the country, what used to be eastern Nigeria, and particularly many of the senior officers. Senior officers also came from other parts of the country, but from this side, because the people from here, from Biafra, that is the old eastern Nigeria, are very go-ahead people, and a number of them had joined the army and the officer corps, and quite a lot of these were killed during the July pogrom. And I myself, I'm not an Igbo man, but I was to be killed also, and I just managed to escape. And a few of the officers escaped, but very many were killed. Those that were killed came from what was then eastern Nigeria. For instance, Major Rock is not an Igbo man, but he was killed. He was killed in Kaduna. Major Kanam was killed in Lagos, and he is not an Igbo man. And several others like that. I'm trying to say that the people, the officers killed, came not just from one tribe, but from the eastern Nigeria as it then was.
Yes.
And so there you are. It was lucky for those of us that escaped.
Yes.
I september begynte nye store uroligheter i nord som før.
And then also, may I inform Biafrans that tomorrow, being the 31st day of October 2022, is still our sit at home. The sit at home, I do not need to announce it differently, because the sit at home, our leader is not out yet. So the sit at home continues every Monday. And we are going to wait when a new sit at home order will be announced. Tomorrow, we continue to lock Biafra down as we continue to demand the unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu.